This is the Transforming Anxiety podcast with Kelly Hanlon McCormick, and today is episode number 247, What's New in the New Year? Welcome to Transforming Anxiety. I'm your host, Kelly McCormick. I'm a mom to 2 boys, a wife, friend, daughter, and sister, and I'm a certified life coach, yoga teacher, and soon-to-be mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm no stranger to anxiety, and I'm here to teach you how to manage your mind and your emotions so that you too can transform anxiety into calm, peace, and whatever you want for your life. I'm so glad you're here. Hey there. Welcome in today. So, technically it's the second Wednesday of the year, right? The second episode of the year. But I have to admit, January, which is that whole wonderful, beautiful, clean slate, fresh start, January is always the month that, to me, it feels like the time to gather myself and prepare for the year. I know a lot of people are like, here's what we're doing starting January 1st, right? And I just have a more, let's start thinking about it all January 1st, and then we'll kind of roll it out from there approach. You see? So I just did this in one of my classes. We kind of did like a pre-cap for the year. Like, what are we up to, right? What are we thinking about as we go into this new year? Where are we going? And in that class, we're going to use this month and honestly, probably a good chunk of this whole first quarter to settle into a rhythm and a routine around 2024. I find it a little bananas that during the months of November and December, when we're running around like crazy with the holidays and travel for some of us and end of the year stuff and helping kids with finals and their end of the year stuff, that is the time that we'd also be like, yes, I'm going to get all of this set in place for the coming year, right? Goals, resolutions, plans, like we're all done and just ready to rock and roll starting January 1st. What? I mean, that doesn't even make sense to me. So if that's you, great. Deep bow. Please don't let me knock you off that path. In my experience, it just hasn't worked out too well. So I'm going to embrace January and, like I said, probably a good part of February and March too, as this whole like quarter kickoff for the new year. And can I also just say, because we have all this new year lingo buzzing around right now, new year, same you. I hate that whole new year, new you thing. New year, same you, same me, same everyone. Okay? I have to disavow myself of this sometimes. That idea that somehow when the calendar turns over, I'll be the better, smarter, more figured out version of myself. Like, I won't. I'm not. I'm just me. Different year, same me. And that's okay. Our work isn't to be someone else. In a lot of ways, our work is making peace with who we are and becoming more, not becoming. Let me replace that word. Being more of that. More me, more you, right? More us. So, intention for today. New year, same me. And I say, yay, happy new year. I say to you, so glad to have the same you back with the same me here in 2024. And no wild big plans quite yet. That's what I'm going to look at. That's what I'm going to meditate on. That's what I'm going to be breathing into these next few weeks and months. The plans, the ideas, the dreams, the goals, right? I invite you to do the same. If you've already got some big, great goals, awesome. Maybe you can use this time and some of what we're going to talk about today to get more specific, to really consider how those are going to look and feel and go. Like, really make it yours. And of course, there's that fun balance of finding something challenging yet realistic, right? If you haven't even thought about what 2024 could look like, and you're just happy to be here, upright in the new year, awesome. I hear you. No pressure to do any of this, okay? By the way, this isn't a goal-setting episode, in case you're getting ready to skip to the next podcast in your queue and just turn this off. I won't be doing anything like that because I'm more interested in how all of this is feeling. This is something I've been staying really close to lately. Not how it looks, not what anyone wants from me, not what I think I should be doing, but how does it feel for me? And because a lot of us can get pretty confused about how we're feeling, it's helpful to use your body, use your 5 senses to really get grounded and to get out of your mind. Most of the time when I ask someone how they're feeling, and this is personally or professionally, people will say something like, well, I feel like this isn't going well. I feel like these people should be cooperating. They tell me what they think, right? Whatever it is. It's hard to figure out how we're feeling past the age of, I don't know, about 3. We aren't very good at accessing our feelings. And even if we do, we don't want to talk about them, right? So, okay, what's new in the new year? That's the title for this one today. And to start with, well, nothing. Because, as we discussed, same me, same you. Different number on the year. But nothing really new. Now, that said, and just to be contradictory, I do think it's helpful and important to ask, what do you want? Are there places you feel stuck? Is there something you want to shake up or rethink or do differently? Is there something big that you want to completely overhaul? Sure, I think these are totally fun and really important questions, regardless of the calendar. These are things we could ask ourselves regularly, but we don't have to tie it to a date or to a goal. This is one of those places where it's important to know yourself, right? What works best for you? What serves you? Do you need internal accountability? External accountability? Do goals and spreadsheets and milestones help you and serve you? Or are you more of a big vision direction kind of person? What suits you? So, what's new in the new year? Whatever the hell you want, right? Okay. From the vantage point of same me, same you, let's talk about a clean slate, a fresh start. And maybe we could use this month, right, this new year to ask, not what you want to do, but how do you want to feel? Sub-question, how are you living your feelings? Meaning, how do your emotions show up in your life? Do your feelings slow you down? Do they make you freeze up and isolate yourself? Do you react or overreact because of how you're feeling? Do you do the same thing day in and day out because of how it feels to consider doing something different? So, I was listening to this business training recently. This guy is so good. He says things and presents things in a way that I've just never heard before, which, you know, we live in the throes of the information age, so it's pretty darn cool when you hear somebody say something that feels brand new, right? But he was talking about business goals and plans, and he said, all right, you've done all that, like the 5-year plans and the resolutions and whatnot, and how's that working? He said, so instead, let's try it this way. Let's say you were going to have the worst business and the worst year for your business ever, okay? If you were just going to drive it into the ground, how would you do that? And here's what's fascinating. it's really easy to come up with ways to just ruin something because our minds love a good worst case scenario, right? We come pre-programmed, our minds do, with this bias towards negativity, right? A way of seeing the glass half empty. So we're really good at seeing how things could go wrong. So you list things out that way. Okay, I won't tell anyone what my business is about. I'll keep it a secret. That would drive it into the ground. And if somehow someone does find out about it, I'll do a terrible job. Yes, I'll be sure they hate it, right? They have an awful experience. They give me nasty reviews. Perfect. Okay, what else? Any money I make, I'll blow it, right? I'll spend it on the dumbest stuff and more. Be sure I have no resources, no assets. Awesome. Okay, see how easy that is? Now, you can do the same with relationships. You can do the same with health. You can do the same with habits, with schedules, with communication, with work. Just give yourself free rein for a few minutes to totally wreck it in your mind. Just really blow things up. How would you ruin it if you were setting out to do that? I promise you this is easy peasy to come up with. Now, let's not, right? Like, let's take the health example, because I think this is one thing a lot of people are struggling with and something that a lot of us can relate to. So things like sleep, nutrition, movement, just feeling good in your own skin, right? Mental and emotional health. Yeah. How do you go about wrecking your health? Well, here's some ideas. You could burn the candle at both ends and try to run on only a few hours of sleep every night. You could give up exercise altogether. Just never do it. You could only eat foods that don't really work for you. Things that just don't feel great in your body. You could beat yourself up in your head all day, every day, and just let negative self-talk run wild. You could hold on to relationships that don't serve you. You could overreact to things at work. You could lose your patience with your kids, right? You could just let it all rip. Totally sabotage your physical, mental, and emotional health, right? You see how easy that is to come up with? There's thousands of ways you can go about it, by the way. That's just a few ideas. Now, because that's easy to come up with, and honestly, it's just kind of funny to do it this way, right? Here's what you do, though. You can take all that stuff and turn it around. So instead of burning the candle at both ends, what you'd want to do, right, if you were going to take care of your health, is protect your sleep and make sure that you get enough hours of rest every night. Knowing what your bedtime needs to be, you could set up your day to ensure that all of this is non-negotiable, right? You could prioritize exercise. You can make sure that happens most days or whatever that looks like for you. You could take note of which foods really work for you, which foods really don't work for you. And you could eat accordingly so that you feel energized, so that you feel satiated, so that you really feel good in your own skin. Right? You could slow down the negative self-talk, reevaluate how you want to think about and talk to yourself, right? That internal chatter that runs in your mind all day, you could pay attention to that. You could clean it up. You could take stock of your relationships. You could work on the ones you want to keep, meaning you'd have to pay attention to them. You'd have to communicate with that person, right? You could let go of other relationships, and maybe you'd make room for either deeper or new relationships to come into your life. So you see what I mean? You're turning around all the ways that you could just totally ruin your health, and you make it a positive. You make it something to work towards. You make it something that you're for instead of arguing with reality and living with so much resistance. So, I mean, maybe that's something new in the new year. I think it's just fun, right? Instead of thinking so much about what you want, maybe even trying to create goals and plans from that place. It's just interesting to turn this whole thing upside down. Consider how you could just completely drive it into the ground and then, well, do the opposite. There's a simplicity to it. Plus, like I said, it's just kind of strangely fun and funny to give yourself free rein to really go there, right? In your mind's eye, anyway, safely in your mind. How would I ruin this? And trust me, your mind will be like, I'm all over it. Here's 50 ideas, right? From there, it's also pretty simple to just turn it around. What's the opposite of that? What would be healthy, nourishing, productive, helpful, valuable, useful, wise? How can I create instead of devastate this area of my life? How can I improve or rethink or optimize this element? Okay, hard left before we go today. I do want to share a few new things around here that I've been thinking about, things that I've been toying with for a while, and some things I want to hear from you on. So, I'm a mindfulness meditation teacher, or if you didn't know that, now you do. I am a mindfulness meditation teacher. That's how I think of myself. That's the core of my teachings. That's the core of my offerings and my coaching is mindfulness. I do a lot of thought work with people. We process a lot of emotion. We talk about actions that we want to be taking. We talk about things we want to stop doing. Yes, sure. There's also some yoga philosophy baked into everything I do because, well, I'm me and yoga is never too far from what I'm up to. But the crux of it all the self-awareness, all the compassion, all the kindness, the real practice of what we're doing is mindfulness. So, on that note, I'm going to be starting up, and again, this will probably be starting in February. I'm going to be starting up a Mindful Monday post, and I will share that with you every Monday moving forward. So if you want to be on the list to get those little mindfulness reminders straight from me to your phone, you can text podcast to 816-354-1279. So that number is in the show notes as well. You'll get text messages directly from me on Mondays, reminding you how you can be a little more mindful, right? Ways you can practice simply and easily, little hacks. These aren't going to take extra time or a lot of effort. This is much more about doing what you're already doing, but with awareness and with attention. It's like where you're pouring yourself. Yeah? So text podcast to 816-354-1279 for that. Also, this is something fun too. I hear from a lot of you that listen to the show and you get some good ideas and you get some helpful nuggets and you're integrating things that you learn on the show into your life, which I love. But I also sometimes hear from you and you've got questions. You have like a specific situation in your life and you're not sure how something I said or something I taught pertains to that thing in particular. So you're curious to hear more. Or some of you have great ideas for the podcast, things that I wouldn't think of that you want to hear about, that you want to hear my ideas, my teachings, my offerings on, again, a specific situation, a certain struggle, something that's coming up for you anxiety-wise. So I've come up with a new plan for us moving forward, and I have a new partner, which is called Featured Up. And this fun little thing, it allows you to send me questions. So either things, again, that you want to hear about on a future episode or something that you want me to clarify on a previous episode, whatever's on your mind. I'd love for you to connect with me through this. So again, there's a link in the show notes for this, but you can find it at featuredup.com/transforming anxiety. Featured Up. It's pretty cool. So again, there's a link in the show notes, but it's featuredup.com/transforming anxiety. Okay. Lastly, I'm working on a couple new things for you. One is a new program. I can't say anything about this quite yet. It's big. It's something I've been really working on for a while now. I've been thinking about this for a long while. It's going to be coming soon. I'm really excited about it. And I'm really excited to engage with you through that program and bring more direct transforming anxiety to you, with you, like work with you more directly. So in the meantime, before we can talk about that program, we're going to do a mindfulness class to get us through this winter. Okay. We're going to spend a few weeks sitting and practicing together. So stay tuned for dates on that. Make sure you're on the email list at kellyhanlonmccormick.com. And I'll be announcing dates for that here and through my emails here soon. So the other thing is I've got a new deal for you, a program where you and I can work together directly, one-on-one, but in a really economical way and in a way that you can take with you on the go. I know a lot of you are just really busy, and I want to make this work as accessible and as valuable for you as possible. So that too, I'm going to be sharing more about in the next few weeks. So much fun stuff coming in 24. So see, I'm thinking about it. New year, same me. There are ideas. Again, January is kind of the year or the month that I marinate and cook on all of it. And I will be sharing dates and more specifics and details with you soon. Sound good? I'm so excited for all of this. I'm so excited to work more directly with more of you this year, 2024. So you can see none of this is what we were going to do on January 1st. Not for me. What's new in the new year is still planning, right? Still dreaming, still just feeling into all of this, still hibernating a bit, to be honest. We've got a snow day here. Kids are home. It's all cozy. It's perfect for doing this kind of work, being inside. New year, same me, same you. But listen, we're going to do this together. Yeah? I love that part where we hang out, where we work together, where we figure out all this anxiety stuff together. Yeah? All right. I will see you again next week at the same time, same place for more transforming anxiety. And until then, please take care. Do you have someone to help you with your stress, anxiety, worry, and overwhelm? If not, I would love to be your coach. The Fierce Calm Project is my virtual coaching program where we get to go in on topics like this one, and I can help you apply these lessons to your life so that you're creating your own transformation. We do live coaching calls, guided meditations, on-demand yoga classes. We hold book club where we read books your neighborhood book club won't, and there's lots of bonus content that I've created just for you. When you're ready to take what you're learning on the podcast to a whole other level, then come on over and check out the Fierce Calm Project at kellyhanlonmccormick.com/Fierce Calm Project.